Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. We are back at Dan's house today, as you can see, and we've got the Supervan out. This is Dan's Regal Supervan 3, which is currently powered by electric. It was converted a long while ago. We don't know when, we don't know any history on it at all, and we believe it to be milk float running gear, i.e. motor control. Everything else is very basic and very slow. If anyone out there does know any history on this van, we'd be interested to know about it, to see when and why it was done. We are going to be converting this back to a petrol engine, so we can get a lot more range out of it and a bit more power, believe it or not, out of a Reliant engine. We're going to put an 850 lump out of a Robin into it, which is a bit more powerful than the original 700. Not much, I think it's about 34 horsepower, but it all helps. And so I'll show you around the van quickly, show you what it's running on at the moment, and then we're going to do one final drive with it on electric, and then we're going to start stripping it down. This van is slightly later than mine in years, only a couple of years, and it's got the different rear lights on it, which is probably one of the only differences that I know about, at least on the Regals. For whatever reason they decided to change the rear lights in the last year or so of manufacture. I don't know why. Anyway, let me show you around it, and then we'll start work. Let's crack on. Rightio, little walk around for you of this electric powered Regal. As you can see, it is a bit of a random colour. Now originally it looks like it was blue. So if you look around the corner of the windscreen there, you can see the original blue paint, which would have been, if anyone's seen it, the van out of Mr. Bean's colour when he tipped it over with his Mini. So it has been painted primer and then green. You can see on the door there used to be an electric vehicle sticker. On the front here there used to be, say, electric vehicle on there, and the same on the other door this side. You can see the square in the paintwork where it was. Inside is obviously pretty much normal Regal, apart from Dan's got some nice Mark II Mazda MX-5 leather seats in it, which do need fixing down actually, but we're going to sort that out later. Dashboard wise is very similar, well, basically the same as normal, apart from it's got this funny box under here which gives you your amps and your volts. You've got a switch on the dashboard there which gives you forward, reverse and neutral. That's all you've got for gears. You've got the emergency stop switch there, and you've got a fast and slow toggle switch, which as far as we can work out does absolutely nothing. Obviously there's no gear shifter, that's gone. Normal handbrake. Funny little heater on top of the dash, because I'm guessing the original heater doesn't work. And obviously we've only got two pedals because it's only go and stop as such. And that little switch in the corner there, if any of you don't know, that is the main beam switch for your headlights. So going around the back, we've got obviously no fuel filler, that's been blanked off. These are the updated rear lights I was saying to you about. They were a bigger, squarer rear light. The earlier ones had a rounded top on them and slightly smaller. Same door on the back as the old trotter van, as you know. This one has actually been fitted with a tow bar. I'm not sure what you'd be able to tow with it, but you can see underneath there, that big box is the storage box for the batteries, which go in the back here. If I slide this board forward, you can see that massive box is for all the batteries to sit in. So it takes 6 batteries in there to run it, and it takes 1 battery in the front to power the lights, indicators, switches, heater, all that sort of thing. So let's get some batteries put in it, and we're going to take it out for a little drive up the road one last time on electric, and then we're going to start stripping it, as I said. Let's crack on. Right, we batteried up. Let's see if this works.
First test drive, here we go.
Or last test drive. Oh,
Or first of the day.
yeah. 38
volts.
39 volts almost. 39 volts.
Forwards, fast.
Hey.
Away we go.
Oh, this thing's mental. Reverse. Yep. .37 volts reading, 36, 37. feel like it's got any more power than last time?
I'm not sure yet. Get out of the road and we'll try.
We did a test drive on this when Dan first got it home. Sorry to interrupt, well, me, but I thought I'd just cut in and just say I'm going to put a clip in of the original test drive that we did in the electric van. It was, as you'll see in a minute, a bit more successful than this test drive. So I'll just put this clip in and then we'll get back to today's action. Electric power Reliant Regal. First test. I can't believe it's working. Oh yes.
Slowing down a bit.
This guy's going uphill.
It's got to go uphill all the way back, isn't it?
Oh yeah. It's a bit wobbly, this video footage, but we are in an electric Regal. Where are we going to turn around? Up the top? We're just going to get up that hill?
Back in there.
Yeah, could do. It's so weird not having anything running when you stop, isn't it? Like electric. Nothing to hear, you know? It's like, oh, it's cut out, but it hasn't. Steering's nice and light.
Power steering.
Yeah, one wheel. Oh, stop. There you go. Come on. That doesn't work.
It normally works, but that battery's absolutely shag.
Yeah. Better off letting him out go first anyway, really.
Oh,
another one coming out. Didn't even know he was here, did they? Silly ass. Is that foot to the floor, is it?
Yeah.
It is. I'll tell you what it reminds me of. A Dodgem.
Yeah.
It's like an electric Dodgem, isn't it?
It's like something.
I can smell electrical. Can you? It's the motor getting hot.
Should be.
No, it shouldn't be, no. But it is literally like a, I tell you, it is literally like a milk float, isn't it? It's definitely a milk float battery, milk float motor. Brakes sound a bit better now you've used them.
Oh, the girls are there.
Are they?
I've got to back it up now.
See their reaction on camera. Go on, pull over there. Gemma can see how happy I am, that's why she's laughing.
Hello.
It works. It's like a giant Dodgem and it sounds like a milk float.
What do you reckon? Do you lift back?
It won't go up the hill, I don't think, when we lift back.
We might.
There you go.
Clear?
Yeah. Go on then. I was like going to fall over.
Oh, that's foot to the floor.
That's foot to the floor. It seems a bit quicker than last time. Definitely feels quicker.
It's not very quick though, is it?
It's not very quick, no. The speedo's not even reading. Where are you going to go? Just around here?
See if I can get up there.
Let's see if we can get up there, right?
No.
No power? Yeah, it's going.
No, it won't.
Isn't it?
Not going forwards, is it?
Won't go forwards?
Too much of a hill.
Too much of a hill? It won't even go up that hill?
No. I'm never going to get out of that junction, that power.
Reverse back, there you go. This is why we want to change it to petrol. Because it's got literally no power. We couldn't even get up there. With us both in it and the weight of the batteries, you don't want to know. Look, we're called minus 70 amps.
That's something just tripping out, I think.
Sounds like the motor's running and nothing's happening.
Could be broken down.
Have we? Uh-oh.
Yeah, we've conked out.
Right, I might have to get out and push for people. As you can probably tell from how out of breath I am, I just had to push it back home. Luckily it was only the end of the road. Something's blown inside. We think it may be the
Controller.
For whatever reason has decided to go pop. What's that plug down there? That white one.
This one?
Yeah.
That's for the wiper motor.
Ah dear. I'm gonna get my breath back. I'll come back to you in a minute. Oh, I'm recording. Right, okay, well as we're here recording, I didn't mean to push that button, but I'll record anyway. I've got my breath back and we still haven't found out what's happened to it, so we're going to take this controller out and have a look inside and see if something's melted, because it seems like the controller's not doing what it should be doing. It's getting all the voltage to these points here. We've had all these off and cleaned them up, so we're just going to have a little look at this. It's got to come out anyway, so we're going to have a look at it, see if we can get it going again. If not, then we'll crack on with stripping it all out and getting it back to a bare shell to get an engine put back in. Let's carry on. Right, we have, or rather Dan has, managed to get this controller apart. This is all what's inside it, and we found this rattling man inside it and that rattling man inside it, which should be soldered into that space there. So we're going to see if it's measuring all right on the meter. That's what Dan's doing there now, and if it is, we're going to try and solder that back in. I know we're not keeping this electric, but just for trying to get it working again, we're just seeing if we can repair it. So let's crack on with that, and so I'll come back to you in a minute. Okay, on further inspection, we have seen that this, what is that, a
Transistor.
transistor is actually blown apart. You can see the crack in the middle of it there. We can't see it all that well. It's not focusing all that well, but that one there is literally mullered, and to get to the pins on that one, you've got to take the whole thing apart, which is not really going to be time effective to repair. So we think we're going to abandon ship on this module and carry on with the stripping down. Unfortunately, we can't get it going again electric, but we was going to convert it anyway, so let's carry on. Okay, we've got the Regal van up on blocks, as you can see, and first thing we need to do is get that prop shaft off. And once we've got that off, then we can sort out getting the motor out, which is there. As you can see, it's on those two supporting bars that have been modified onto the chassis. And then we are basically up top then doing all the sort of wiring and all that stuff that's got to come out. So there's not really too much to strip out of this, but I dare say, looking at the state of those bolts, it's probably going to take a little while, because chances are they're all going to be rusty, aren't they? So you know that as well as I do. So let's crack on. There we go, one prop shaft off. Now we've got to do the motor, which is under here, up there. You can't see it all that well. I showed you this a minute ago, so we're going to get that out now. Okay, you would have seen from that bit of time lapse there, we've got all the bolts loose on the motor and the motor mounts. Now we're just going to disconnect all the cables from in here, because obviously we don't want any of them getting caught up when we try and drop the motor, and it's probably not going to be the lightest thing in the world. So that is the next step. Dan's just cutting all the cable ties. We're going to get all these unbolted off of here, and then we can drop the motor at the bottom. Lovely jubbly. Rightio, we are at the point where the cables for the motor are all disconnected. There are 4 cables up here. We've got these bars undone. We've got the motor loose, as you can see. We're just getting a trolley jack under it to try and support the weight if we can. We may need one of us to balance it and one of us to pull these bars out.
Right, this one should come out.
Right, like that. I've got it. Put that down there. Right, how are we going to do this? I've got the motor. Do you want to control the jack and the...
Right, the jack's taking some of the weight already.
Right. So if you jack it up a bit more, and I'll support it on there, and then you can pull that bar out. Go on in. It should be all right.
Right.
Yeah. That bar move. Or not. Whee.
Right.
Hang on. So
That's rocked over towards
that
me.
balance on the jack. Oh, that is bloody heavy. That is really heavy. Yeah, really heavy.
Try and jack it a bit more.
Yeah, leave that bar there for a second, and you want to get the jack further this way.
I'm going to get the handle for it.
This thing weighs a ton. No wonder it needed so much juice to make it go along. It was just pushing along its own weight.
Right, so I'm going to drop the jack.
Drop the jack, yeah.
You out on the motor.
Yep.
And then bring it back.
Back a little bit. That's it.
Somewhere there.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm not in the centre, am I?
Let's come to you a bit, I think. It's better. I do apologise if you can all see up my nostrils. I wasn't planning on that.
It's rocking towards me again.
Right, it's on the jack now.
Fairly well balanced.
I think so, yeah.
Should we get this bar out in yet? Drop in the face.
Hang on. That's it. Okay.
Right, so follow the jack.
Yep. See what happens.
It's slow.
Yep. That's pretty well balanced actually. This thing absolutely weighs. I reckon this is heavier, or as heavy as an engine, you know. Honestly, it is mental how heavy it is.
Right, we're going to have to get it off the jack to get it out from the car.
Right, hang on a minute. You've got like a flat piece of wood that we can put under it and just plock it onto it, and we can drag the wood out. Things we do, eh?
Things we do for fun.
Yep. If it was my garage, I'd have plunked it on the floor and just dragged it, but because it's Dan's garage, I don't want to ruin his floor.
Floor's worth more than the van.
The floor is worth more than the van, you're right, yeah. Hold the line, caller, we'll be there in a minute. I can't even lift this. It's mental how heavy it is. Well, I know I'm at a funny angle, but blimey.
Not a great bit of wood, but it'll do. You try and roll it this side.
I think you want to roll it my way. You want to come out, put the wood around this side of the jack. So it's more tilting towards this side. That metal bar's in the way on the floor, Dan. Oh,
Oh shit.
that's all right.
I want to check that still.
That's all right. Go for it. Ow, 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 ow.
You right?
Yeah, that's all right. I got my finger caught between a bolt and on the floor. Right. The next issue we've got is it's higher than the van is to get it out. We might have to go back.
Probably bring it up through the back.
Right, let me stop recording a second and we'll get this out. Right, one motor out after a crushed finger, but still. This thing, I'll take that down, let's see if I can pick it up. Is absolutely megally heavy. I mean, I can pick it up, but that is as heavy, I would say, as heavy as an engine. Nearly as heavy as a Reliant engine. No wonder the thing didn't move. Oh my god. So there you go, that's out. Now we've got to get all the electrics out the front. Let's crack on. Rightio. Danny's underneath and he's taking off the cables. You can't really see them as the ends of the cables over there. Those are the cables that ran from the back battery box to the front controller, or the front cut-off switch I should say, which I'm just about to take out in here, which is that emergency switch there, which is just held in with 2 screws, one on top, one underneath, and that should pop through. So I'm going to get that out, and then we're going to be under the bonnet area then, and also we need to take out that controller box under there, but we'll do that in a minute as well. Let's crack on. Okay, we've just unbolted this big tray. There's 4 bolts on each side going through the actual footwells themselves, so they're going to probably want maybe fiberglass or a little bit of resin or whatever over them, just to seal the holes up so they don't get wet feet when we're going along. And that should now be loose. Go on, Dan, do the honours.
Should we lift it out?
Fiddly, although it's an easy job, because you've got to have one person inside and one person outside, because they're just nuts and bolts, it's a bit of a fiddly job, so it's a good job there was 2 of us. So you didn't want a messy floor?
Yeah.
Too late.
Tight fit that.
Cool, not many. There we go.
There we go.
She's out. So you can see down here, this has actually been modified slightly, I think. Not too much actually, looking at it, Dan. I think it's been modified a little bit, but I reckon you might get away with leaving that.
I don't think this bit's original though, is
No, it's wider here. Usually it only goes up. Yeah, usually only goes up to this inside of the wheel arch, sorry, the footwell there, and then comes straight up to this part of the scoop here, so it comes straight down. But they've actually made it wider, I assume, to protect all the electrics and whatever from water when they installed all this. So that's going to be something we're going to have to look at, maybe modifying back to original again.
Out there, maybe.
Yeah, and also your heater box, where your heater box goes, is not there, is it? Because that usually sits here.
I have got a complete fiberglass section from another van.
Oh right, okay.
That we can craft in if we need to.
Looks like we'll be doing a bit more fiberglass work then. I want to be itching going home again like I was when I was doing my van. Right, next thing we're going to get out is under here is this row of electrical connectors. I'm going to get a better shot in a second. In there you've got a big row of electrical connectors which is on one long metal plate. So we're going to unbolt that. I think it's only 2 10mm on it.
One each end, I think.
One each end, and we should be able to get that out in one lump, so that'll be good. That's the next job. Yeah, that's right, yeah. Right, we're just taking out this display unit and the DC converter that's underneath the footwell, because that is actually in the way of getting the other bolt out for the bar of electronics that runs inside the dash there. We've got the one in the passenger side out, which is obviously straight through the footwell. This side is in the way, so we're getting that out now, and then we'll go and get the electronics out off that bar in the engine bay. Okay, as you can see, the voltage and amp gauges are out, along with the DC box which was in now. That has allowed us access to get that other bolt out for the electronics that's under here. Dan's just working on cable ties, because there's about 1 million of them holding everything together, as you'd expect. That's the switch off the dash that he's holding there, which was the forward, reverse and neutral selector. So we're just trying to sort out this maze of wiring now. We've got to get that off, which is the throttle for the electric motor, and that has got some wiring that runs through to the main loom, that white wire which goes into there as well. Now we're going to obviously need 2 people to unbolt that as well, because this is all nut and bolted through, so everything in the engine bay area and that goes through to the wheel arches underneath there was all nut and bolted, so it would have been a right pain if it was only been one person trying to do it on their own, because you obviously couldn't get to both sides of the bolts at one time. So one of us is underneath and one of us is inside the car or under the engine bay, and we're cracking through it, so it's alright. It's getting there, getting clearer and clearer every time. So let's crack on and I'll come back to you in a minute. Rightio, we have got one clean engine bay, well, say clean, one empty engine bay I should say. We've removed all traces of electric that was in there before. It's all bare, back to factory wiring. Now this scoop, as Dan said earlier, I think this is not original, it has been modified slightly for the electric conversion, but we should be able to fit the engine in here with it like that, and all we're going to do is cut a section out of this piece so that we can put new radiator brackets on the metal chassis bar underneath.
That's the front cross member.
Yep. And
normally you have brackets that come up here and here to mount the radiator.
Yeah, I had to re-weld them on mine as well, because they were gone. So yeah, we're not going to do this now, but the next part is to cut that out, and obviously Dan's going to either fabricate or
cut that, something like that.
Yeah, just cut it sort of so it's back a bit so we can get to the metal part to weld it on. All this wiring in here is most of it's the original stuff. As you can see, it's old and crusty and it's got Lucas written on it, so it's definitely original. Obviously this is the actual steering column, which runs right through from the cab right the way down to the front wheel. So don't ever have a front ender, otherwise you will get speared in the chest by the steering column. So I think that's about all we can do for now. We've got it all stripped out, so next job's really, well, the next job will be to cut this out, get some rad brackets made and mounted, get a radiator for you to sort out.
Yep.
And then we can start getting the engine put in. Now this is going to be like a two-stage sort of project, if you like. At the moment we're just going to get it so that it drives and runs. Eventually, when time allows, Danny's going to take the body right off this, same as my one, and do a full chassis restoration, and then we will modify this scoop properly, because he has got another original scoop to go on here, which we can then fiberglass in, but with the chassis in the way, it's very difficult to do it properly. So we're just going to get it up and running for now, so he can enjoy it for a while with an engine in, because he's had it, how long he had this now? 2 years?
Getting on for 2 years. Yeah.
He had this 2 years now and he ain't driven it yet, apart from on electric once, and today when it conked out. So that's right, isn't it?
That is exactly right.
Yeah.
So that'd be nice to get it on the road.
Yeah, we just want to get it on the road, get it driving and enjoy it for a little while, and then when time allows and money allows, we'll do a full body resto on it. Inside, just show you quickly inside, obviously we've removed all of the switching that was on the dash. We've removed the fast slow switch from over there. We've removed that manky heater off the top of the dashboard, got rid of that, and we've removed all the electrics from underneath that footwell there. One little job that Dan may do first as well is to re-drill the hole down there for that clutch pedal, so we can get the clutch pedal mounted. And obviously, because actually you've got a clutch pedal with it, didn't you? Yeah. You've got a clutch pedal with the car, or with the van I should say, so that can be done. That's a nice little job for him to be doing of an evening or whatever. We've got to finish mounting these seats as well, because although they're in there, they're not actually bolted down yet, so we've got to do that. So yeah, there's lots of jobs to do on it, but for now I think this is going to be the end of this episode on it anyway, at least. We have found another job we need to do on this to strip off, and that is the battery box at the back. As you can see, Danny's laying on the floor and the battery box is under there, and he's just trying to unbolt it, and we've just discovered that whoever built this has put the battery box on the chassis and then put the body back on. So we're not sure how we're going to get it off yet, as far as what, because the bolts won't. We can get the box off, but the bolts are going to be left behind, rattling around in the chassis. So we're just going to work out how we can do that. I'll just quickly show you over here the pile of bits. That is the pile of bits that we've taken out of that van, all the electrics and whatever else, and the big motor at the back there. And that is the controller that went wrong with the diode on the top of it that blew, along with the little chip that's inside it also blew. Sounds like Dan just smacked himself in the ear hole. What did you do? Hit his finger. We're going to try and get this battery box off, and I'll cut back in once we have a bit more luck, hopefully. Rightio, I'll just show you under here. This is just literally held on with 4 bolts, but they are an absolute pain to get to. So we've got one up there, which is there, one up there, and the same the other side, and they are absolute nightmare because they are not captive. They're just nuts and bolts. So one of us had to hold a spanner on the very top of it, and the other one had to undo it because they were so tight. So now in theory, what's holding this box on is the paint holding it to the chassis. So we're going to try and get this off. Might put the tripod over here and see what happens. And do it live rather than time lapse and everything. So I'll sit you there. What do you want to do, Dan? Do you want to try and knock this off, or?
Yeah.
What, from the inside of the van, you mean, or?
What's that?
You want to try and knock it out from the inside of the van? You really want to do the back end of it first, don't you?
Yeah. Got to be careful though, so it doesn't come down and smack that fiberglass.
This bumper has been modified to fit this, and obviously we've got to be careful that it doesn't come down and smack it when it comes down. What are you doing? Just going to push in it? You've got, where's that big screwdriver, right?
What?
What?
The bolts you can get.
Really? Oh my god. Now you tell me. He just said that, I don't know if you heard that, he just said, you them bolts that we was holding onto under the cab, you can actually get to them from the inside. Yeah, typical. Right, let's get this screwdriver and I'll try and break a seam. Pardon? What's that?
What's the light for a minute?
It's moving. Got it moving now.
I don't think it's going to go though.
Well. I've got it moving.
Yeah, we won't move all together, I don't think. Let's try that light, sir.
Yeah.
So I think inside.
It's on your knee now.
Yeah, there's a piece of wood here that lips over the chassis. It's never going to come down. We're going to have to bring it down and back and then twist it, I think.
Do you want to get a jack or something under it then? No, it's loose. Whatever.
It's not too bad actually.
Well, it's fairly heavy, yeah. It's just hanging there, isn't it? What's it hanging on?
This bit in the inside that one.
Let me just show you. You can see it's obviously loose now. Let me just show you the inside. What's it hanging on?
So that bit of wood at the back of the box loops over the chassis that lip there, look.
Oh, I see, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's going to have to come back and then twist so it can drop down.
Can you pull it back or is it moving?
I can't because it's hitting.
It won't drop down enough to go past the body.
Not at the moment.
Right, we may have to just cut up the sides of here then. Cut up the sides and just cut the lip off. Got a chisel. Right, hold the line. We're
Put
gonna.
it in then.
Well, they'll probably put it in without the body on, aren't they?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that'll be it.
Yeah. So we need to cut up these. You can see that what Dan's talking about there. There's a lip on the chassis, and this wood lips over the top of it to stop it dropping out. So we're gonna have to cut up the side here on one side at least, so that to drop out, and then we probably better slot the other side out. So let's get a chisel and we'll see if we can do that. Right, so the plan we've come up with is to drill a series of holes up the side to obviously make a cut, because we can't get in there to cut it with anything because we don't want to damage anything around it. Go on in, Dan, go for it, see what happens. And then we don't fall on your foot. This is only plywood we're going through, so it's quite soft. Quite soft, and then it jams up.
Battery's gone.
Battery's gone. Oh, what? Yeah, only on YouTube. couldn't write this stuff, could you? There you go. Luckily, he's got another battery. Sandy. Put the other one back on charge.
Yeah. Try and break that out now.
Yeah. So you can see we've done a series of holes up the side. I'm just going to try and break that bit out so we can then drop the box out. All this work someone's gone through to do all this, we're hacking it apart.
Right, that box should drop. It's actually already dropped that side, isn't it?
Looks like it has, yeah. So that side now should just slot out then, shouldn't it? Hang on, let me zoom out. I'm zoomed in right tight. One it doesn't drop on you. That side slot out?
Yeah, so if you get under that corner,
Right, hang on.
you should. I'm going to drop this whole thing out now.
Let me just stand that there. Ready?
Yeah, so you're going to have to push it towards the driver's side. Is it?
Right, and push the bolt up as well.
Oh, right.
Bolt on there. Watch that handbrake mechanism. Handbrake back in. That's it. That's it. There you are. Look at that. Quite a big old lump, isn't it?
It is.
Suspension's just gone up 3 inches now.
There we go.
There we go. There's the box, look, out. And now you can see straight through the floor. So, as you can see, there isn't much to a Regal van, especially when someone hacks the boot floor out and puts a box in the back of it. There we go. Job done. Haven't damaged anything else, so that's good. That's superb.
Oh no. Oh no.
Rightio. So that concludes part 1 of the electric van to petrol conversion. We've done alright today, we've got it all stripped out, everything's out of it as far as electric stuff, and it can now be modified as far as the bits and bobs that need to be changed back to be able to get the petrol engine back in it again, which is sitting just over there behind the camera. We've had it all running on the floor, we know it runs good, so it's ready and waiting to go. So if you want to join us for more automotive adventures, then hit that thumbs up and that like button, and give us a subscribe and notification bell, hit that as well, and then you'll get told every time I upload a video. See you all soon, guys. Cheers.